breaking news in the NFL today is the Bills have fired head coach Sean McDermott. Adam Schefter with us all show. Adam, what do we know about the decision in Buffalo?
Laura, when the Buffalo Bills lost on Saturday to the Denver Broncos, that sealed Sean McDermott's fate in Buffalo. He was unable to get this team to a Super Bowl, and that essentially was his undoing in the end. We could look at a variety of factors as to why this team moved in a different direction, but they are squandering the prime years of Josh Allen's career, not being able to get him to a Super Bowl, and not being able to get him to a Super Bowl this year when there was no Patrick Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson, no Joe Burrow. Josh Allen, with him as the quarterback, they lost once in the wild card round, 4 times in the divisional round, twice in the AFC Championship game, never getting to the Super Bowl. And people around the league felt like this was a team that played tight in moments that mattered. I think it goes back to when they lost that game in Kansas City in the final 13 seconds. The team seemed to play tighter after that. And now here we are in a season where a team in their division is playing to go to the Super Bowl on Sunday. The New England Patriots may get back to the Super Bowl before the Bills can get there, with Drake May having replaced Tom Brady. And ultimately, Buffalo felt like it needed to do something to try to get to the next step. And they fired Sean McDermott, and they promoted their general manager, Brandon Beane, to the president of football operations, along with his GM title.
Yeah, Brandon Beane, of course, gets the promotion. As you just said, Sean McDermott has to find a new job. We'll get into all of this throughout this show. And Adam with us for the next hour with a lot more context on this and other things. Now, this season, the Bills became the 4th different team in the Super Bowl era to win a playoff game in at least 6 straight seasons. The first 3 teams to do so, that was the mid-90s Cowboys. Brady-era Patriots that Adam brought up, and the Mahomes-era Chiefs all won at least 3 Super Bowl titles during their reigns. Buffalo not even made it to a Super Bowl during their run. When you see those numbers, it does make this make maybe a little bit more sense, although I will say this shocked a lot of us as we welcome you to the show. Marcus and Dan here, Mina and RC. We got a lot to get to. Marcus, was this, in your mind, the right move for Buffalo?
Yeah, it's similar to what I thought about John Harbaugh, right? You're looking for that next edge in order to try to get to a Super Bowl. And Josh Allen, look, when you have quarterbacks like that, it puts pressure on coaches. It puts pressure on the organization, your decision making. Where do we go from here? You've been a good enough coach to get us to this point, but we are looking for what's next. And when you think about this team is about to build a new stadium. They're about to have to revamp a little bit on defense. They got some contracts that's getting up there. They got to fix some issues on this football team, and maybe you just want some new blood. McDermott didn't get it done to the level in which they thought they should, with 17 being the quarterback, and I understand the decision. Doesn't mean he's not a good coach. Same thing I said about John Harbaugh.
Yeah, there's no way right now that we could say this is the right move, because we just don't know what the next move is, who's going to, and what that next potential success looks like. And there's no one available right now, because Mike Tomlin is not, that you would sit here and say, this guy's a better coach than Sean McDermott. I agree, Marcus. It's the exact same way I feel about Coach Harbaugh.
Yep.
No, it's not the right move. Until we know who the next move is, it's going to be hard to find a coach that is as consistent as Sean McDermott, but I understand it. I mean, 5 years in a row, it feels like they've lost on the final play, the playoffs, in like the same way, where you find a way to, the quarterback misses a throw here or misses a play there, or they take the field on defense with the lead and they can't hold the lead for a defensive-minded head coach. So he's a great coach. He's going to have a job immediately once this pool gets going for him in interviews, but this is, once again, it's a dice roll by Buffalo, the same it is for Baltimore.
I mean, I love the fact that you guys have mentioned John Harbaugh, because what this says is we don't have enough patience to watch you lose with the Hall of Fame quarterback. Because that's all this is. This is, we believe Josh Allen is a Super Bowl quarterback, and for some reason you can't get him to the Super Bowl. But that also goes to some of Josh Allen's play in some of the biggest moments. And this is not Josh Allen's fault. He's played plenty good in many playoff games to win those games. A lot of those times it's been Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes on the other side of the field from him. But that's what it wasn't what it was this week. That was Bo Nix. And that was your team, even undermanned, putting you, Josh Allen, the best players left in the playoffs, in a spot to win the game. And Dawson Knox was wide open. Hit him. Right? Khalil Shakir is right there on the screen. Don't dirt the football. You get the football turned over. the end of the half and you throw an interception. You fumble the football and you kick a field goal. There's a Nick Bonito sack fumble. All of these things happen, and that was Josh Allen. That wasn't Sean McDermott. I didn't see a lot of things happening on Saturday that said Sean McDermott is not a good coach. And so the question that you're asking, if you're Brandon Beane or if you're the owners of the Buffalo Bills, is where's our John Gruden? Right? Because this feels very Tony Dungy-ish. This feels like a team that has opportunities to win Super Bowls, that have players that come up just short. But where's that quarterback? Because what I see is we're just recycling all the same coaches. We're just playing coaches, Hollywood shuffle, and you get fired here and I'll hire you there. I don't believe that this was the right call. I think some tweaks and Josh Allen playing a little bit better this weekend, and we're seeing a different team in the AFC Championship.
Yeah, I don't agree with this decision. I understand sometimes you want to shake things up, you know, what we saw in Baltimore and Pittsburgh. And so I don't think it's totally egregious when you look at the entire body of work. But to sort of echo what Ryan just said, watching the Bills this weekend, I certainly wasn't thinking about the coaching staff. I was thinking about Allen, of course, but I was also thinking about the roster and all of the flaws that it has, which is why the fact that this news came with also the news that Brandon Beane, the GM, got a promotion, that's what's the most puzzling part of all of this to me. I mean, that was a defense that had no pass rush, right? Filled with aging players on the back end, an offense that didn't have pass catchers, which he mocked, by the way, that question this offseason. Y'all remember that sound. And when you look back at some of Brandon Beane's draft picks and some of his big free agency moves since he drafted Josh Allen, they don't look great, guys. I see some solid players, but I don't see a lot of superstars. And then free agency, I see a lot of mistakes. Von Miller contract being the biggest one, but Joey Bosa was not good in this game, who was, you know, the signing this offseason. So for me, I think just as a whole, I find this puzzling because I think the roster was a problem. And the fact that that wasn't addressed, I think, is a mistake on the part of the Bills organization.
What's going to be really interesting to me is, do they, in their next head coach, look for a guy that is defensive-minded and say, you know, this defense has to be better? Or do they try to find somebody that's right in line with Josh Allen? I don't know this, but my guess is you don't make this move without getting Josh Allen on board in the first place. Dan, if you're Brandon Beane, who's your first call for the replacement here?
Yeah, the first call would probably be Brian Daboll, just because I would value the relationship that at least he's had with Josh Allen. The question that I would ask is, if I hired Brian Daboll, can I keep Joe Brady? Joe Brady was sensational this past season and this past weekend. I want Joe Brady as the play caller in Buffalo. If I can't have that, I would then probably look to Joe Brady to just anoint him as the head coach. I think Bobby Babich is a good defensive coordinator, so I don't think that there's this easy answer. You're not going to find a coach that you sit there and say,
yeah,
this one's better than the guy we just had.
This is why, again, the timing is so weird to me, because if the thought here is we're going to go offense, and I would be surprised if they make a switch from a defensive coach who I thought did a hell of a job with limited tools on defense, this is not the year, right? Like last year, Ben Johnson, Liam Cole, like think about some of the previous years, there are all these exciting offensive minds. This year is not the season in which I want to be out there needing to hire an offensive coach. Kevin Stefanski's off the board too now. So I just don't think this was the right time to do this. I just don't.
Yeah, it does make you think, like, maybe, Adam, they are planning on elevating Joe Brady. Maybe they have some plan in place already. What are you hearing about potential replacements for Sean McDermott out there?
Well, a few things to keep in mind here, Laura. First and foremost, I think Buffalo with Josh Allen now becomes a preeminent, if not the preeminent, destination and choice for available coaches who are out there. But the Bills still are competing with 8 other teams to hire that head coach. I don't think they're worried about their job right now, and they certainly don't seem to be rushing to go make a move right now. They're going to go through meetings with the NFL tomorrow, have a press conference on Wednesday, and then they will launch into their search. Let's also keep in mind that they can't talk to members of the Rams and Seahawks staff, member of the Broncos and Patriots staffs, because they didn't get interviews with them before, so they have to wait for their seasons to finish now before they can even speak to prospects on those teams. But I think the aces in the hole in all this would be Brian Daboll, the former Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator, who's close with Josh Allen. Joe Brady, the current offensive coordinator, who's close with Josh Allen, and even Davis Webb, the former Buffalo Bills quarterback, who's been on the interview circuit right now as a head coach candidate at the age of 30, who also would be an ace in the hole. So Buffalo's going to have no problem luring a top coaching candidate to Buffalo, but they're going to do it on their timeline and not rush into anything.
Yeah, well, what's weird about that to me is, are we just trying to hire people that get along with Josh Allen? Is that what was going on? Was Sean McDermott not the type of person Josh Allen wanted to play for? Did he not put Josh Allen in position over and over again in the playoffs to be that guy that ascended, to be the dude that was on the same tier with Joe Burrow that's been in a Super Bowl, or Patrick Mahomes that's been in a Super Bowl? That didn't seem like the problem to me. And so now if we're talking about Brian Daboll, he's been in the building. Josh ain't go to the Super Bowl with him either. Joe Brady, who I think has done a phenomenal job, who I believe should be a coach that is uniquely sought after during this coaching cycle, he's been in the building too. And Davis Webb, that's his homeboy. Is that where we are now? Is watching Josh Allen cry after the game and say that he let his team down the thing that motivated you to get rid of a great leader, a great coach, and a guy who has been a great man that guided you through something with Damar Hamlin that was extremely difficult and still had people ready to play football? I don't get this move. At least I don't get it right now. And I don't feel like that coach is out there to replace Sean McDermott moving into next year that's going to make Josh Allen any better than he was this year, or make this roster better as long as Brandon Beane is the general manager.
Yeah, look, whether you like it or not, and I hear all of the points. You gave up a 0 coverage touchdown to the Denver Broncos late in that game. In 13 seconds, the Kansas City Chiefs went down and was able to kick a field goal. I don't think it's about this year. I think it's a culmination of your expertise
of it.
over the years with that particular unit and how it's ended. We've all acknowledged that Sean McDermott is a really good coach. And I agree with RC. I don't think you hire somebody to appease Josh Allen. Dan, I told you this is all the time. I know how important quarterbacks are, but there will be 52 other dudes on the team that he has to be able to lead and get ready to play. And I thought Sean McDermott did a good job at that. But you are going to be judged again, similar to the John Harbaugh. You're no longer being judged on being a good coach. And that's the part that nobody wants to say. You're being judged on those small little margins that you haven't been able to overcome.
Like your great quarterbacks.
It's the same thing. So again, I get it, but that's what Buffalo thinks. And to all of you's point, it's a scary proposition because you may get worse, but they were really willing to roll those dice.
Well, this is a situation, I think, here where what we have is a Buffalo Bills team that felt like it needed to do something to shake it up. And RC, we're not saying that they're going to go hire one of Josh Allen's friends. My point to you is that I think that they feel confident that if they wanted to go do that, they could always go hire one of them. But they're going to go hire what they believe is the best coach to try to get this team to a level that they've been unable to get to the last 9 years under Sean McDermott, who did win 5 AFC East titles. He's been a great coach, but a great coach has not been enough to get them over the top. And it reminds me of the team that they lost to on Saturday, the Denver Broncos. They once had a great coach in John Fox. They were a top seed for 3 straight seasons. They wound up firing John Fox, replacing him with Gary Kubiak, and winning the Super Bowl the next year. The Buffalo Bills would love to duplicate that. We'll see if they can make that happen.
Again, we will continue to talk about this breaking news throughout the rest of the show. Also, some potential landing spots for Sean McDermott. That's coming, plus a lot. The final 4 teams with conference championships coming on Sunday. We'll start with the Broncos, now led by Garrett Stidham, hosting his former team, the Patriots, at 3. Then the top-seeded Seahawks will host the Rams. And let's remind you how we got to this point. The Rams and the Bears. It was frigid in this game, okay? They said it felt like, -5 or something? The snow's coming down, and they're ready to go. We're picking it up in overtime, though. The game tied at 30. Allen firing deep. Allen, I got the wrong highlight. What are you doing?
That's Caleb Williams.
All right, there's Caleb Williams getting ready to go. That was incredible. And the Bears into Rams territory. Later in the drive, just over 3 minutes left. Bears going for it on 4th and goal. Williams trying to throw to Luther Bird in the third, but broken up by Omar Spates. Great defense by the Rams.
Was great. Spit chance. I mean, that's a ridiculous play by Caleb.
You called it retreats. I mean, he went backwards like 20 yards and then still somehow does it. The Bears tie the game at 17. We go to overtime. Now we're really in overtime for the right game. The Bears with the ball, a Rams punt, 2nd and 8 from the Rams 48. Williams cutting one loose downfield, but Cam Curl comes up with an interception.
Another guy played great last night. Cam Curl was awesome for the Rams.
So what would Stafford do? He hadn't played great this game, but yet he plays great in the big moments. Finding Devontae Adams for the first down.
Amazing
Adams,
when you find your people.
phenomenal. Look at this toe tap.
Yeah,
Look at the body control. He's unbelievable. A few plays later, 3rd and 6 from the Bears 43, and Stafford to Puka Nacua for the first down. Nacua coming up big, too.
Puka, hot route, blitz, get him the ball. I was nervous. I was nervous when this special teams unit went on the field.
You can't help but be nervous after what we've seen.
Mevis?
Kicker. He did it. Stafford.
He actually a B&B.
He is. Honestly, when I saw him right before this moment, I was like, man, he's bigger than I remember.
It always takes us.
You're going to put him on B&B.
We should do a special kicker B&B. There's one, and it's Mevis. All right, RC, take us to the end of regulation, though. Were you okay with Ben Johnson's decision to kick the extra point and head into overtime?
I mean, okay is a nice way to put it, but I felt like Ben Johnson should have gone for 2. I wanted to see the Ben Johnson that didn't want to shake Matt LaFleur's hand, the Ben down on 4th and 4. And really, you only scored this touchdown late to Cole Kmet because of Caleb Williams' wizardry and witchery in the pocket. Why not go for 2? Why not give Caleb Williams an opportunity to get an option where he can run or pass the football and do some of the things while we've seen him pull rabbits out of hats? I felt like the more experienced team, the team with the more experienced coach and Sean McVay, who wasn't having a great day, would find a way to make a play in overtime and win this football game before the young, inexperienced team did. And even though the Rams tried to give it away, they eventually found a way. I felt like going for 2 with that aggressive head coaching style that Ben Johnson has displayed was the way to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb was on a roll at that point, too. By the way, I am upset we didn't see that handshake at the end of the game. What's going on with that? Anyone got video of that anywhere?
Someone has to.
Someone's got video. Come on, if you haven't, put it out there. Dan, as good as the Caleb touchdown pass was to tie the game, it gets lost a little bit because of the interception in overtime. What happened on that play?
It's miscommunication. It is the quarterback seeing one thing and the receiver seeing another thing, but at the same time. You often hear us say, guys are on the same page. They're on different pages here. So the Rams at the bottom of the screen are playing man coverage, zone up top. You're trying to attack the bottom right corner of your screen with a crosser. Caleb starts at the bottom. That's the proper read. It's not there. Now we're going to go to the crosser. That safety should get cleared out by Odunze. And right when Caleb cuts the football, he's thinking that DJ Moore is going to flatten in front of that safety. DJ thinks I'm going to go vertical, and Cam Curl does a great job of stepping in front of it. The big thing is, it's very easy for me to sit here and rewind, and show everybody what happens. I think what happens is, as DJ's going vertical, he sees the safety start to get depth. Right when he does that, he peeks back to kind of anticipate the ball. Caleb cuts it loose, and right when he cuts it loose, Cam Curl drives on the football. So it's just miscommunication. It's also a great play by Cam Curl to cut the crosser.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I wanted to the 3 turnovers were the big piece of the game for me. This is a 3-point game. It usually comes down to a few plays, and we saw Caleb. But I wanted to ask RC, because in that moment, like when I rewatched it, I thought Cam Curl baited him.
100%.
For that throw.
Yeah.
He makes a great play.
And what do you, RC, this on you. This your area of expertise. Is that something you think he was thinking as that play was developing?
No, honestly, I don't think Cam baited him. It's actually an extremely deep. And DJ seems like he's trying to figure out if he's even getting the ball or where it will be placed, while Cam Curl is only reading DJ's shoulders and Caleb Williams' trajectory on the throw. And to me, that's an easy play where you're expecting DJ to cut Cam off.
Yeah, it was just the play itself was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like the read and getting there, but catching the football in that condition.
I mean, he rolls over it. Like, he had to hold on to it.
Those are the playoff plays. But the 3 interceptions. Look, we tore this Rams secondary apart last week, and they gave up some plays in this game against Chicago. But the fact that they were able to come through and make those 4th down stops and create these turnovers helped them get to this point in this game. They bailed their offense out.
Well, let's talk about the offense because, Mina, it wasn't good early, but it felt like they figured something out in the fourth quarter. In overtime, they went on 2 long drives late in the game. What did you see that changed?
Well, until the fourth quarter, going back and watching, Dennis Allen blitzed DB multiple times, and against those DB blitzes, Matthew Stafford did not complete a single pass and took 3 sacks going back and watching. And I think Allen deserves a lot of credit. I thought some of the coverage designs behind those blitzes was very intelligent, the way he was dropping backers to take away Matthew Stafford's throwing lanes. But the other thing I thought on the flip side for the Rams, Matthew Stafford definitely missed some throws, but they stuck with the under center play action way longer than I would have because the Bears were blitzing it with so much success. And then you saw as the game went on, put him in the gun more, had some more success. Again, some of that had to do with the Bears, and I thought you showed that final throw to Puka Nacua. I do not understand why, if you're going to send an all-out pressure, you play 15 yards off Puka Nacua. Wouldn't have been my choice in that moment. But I do think putting Stafford in the gun and just spreading things out and letting him pick at matchups ended up helping this Rams defense at the end of the game.
Yeah, we'll talk a lot about the Rams, but credit to those cardiac Bears. They were fun to watch this season. They exceeded a lot of people's expectations, didn't make it beyond this point, but deserve a ton of credit. I'm excited to see the action of the divisional round in the playoffs. Josh Allen and the Bills versus the Broncos on Saturday. We're going to pick it up in overtime. The game is tied at 30. Josh Allen firing a deep ball to Brandon Cooks, but Jaquan McMillan comes down with it for the interception. Ball coming loose. Cooks able to roll over. McMillan has it. And unbelievable. Look at this. Ooh, somersault action. He's got it, though. All right, so Bo Nix and the Broncos now with a chance to win it because we are in OT. Nix trying to find Cortland Sutton downfield. The pass incomplete and a flag is thrown. Karen Johnson grabbing the arm there of Sutton, and it's called for pass interference. Okay, Dan, that's some good analysis. Next play, Nix takes it, scrambles for a loss of 2. That is the play that Nix broke his ankle on. Ooh, you see it right there. He's in some pain on the sideline, but you still aren't thinking it's that serious. Look at him, he's like, oh man, what just happened? Okay, Nix is still in though, launching it downfield for Marvin Mims Jr. Another flag is thrown. The Broncos now at the 8-yard line. Will Lutz on to kick it from 24 yards for the win, and he nails it down the middle. The Broncos win 33-30. And that was the good news for Bo Nix and company, but then the bad news comes down that they lose their quarterback. I mean, we've talked about this so much. It's still shocking every time I think about it. Can Denver overcome this, though? You saw the confidence of Sean Payton. You think that's real?
I think it's real for Sean Payton because he's confident in what he can do as a head coach. I think this game is close for a while. Look, this is the NFL, and I know Jarrett Stidham coming in is going to be a struggle. The New England Patriots defense is playing great right now.
Ooh, yeah.
They're doing a phenomenal job, but there's also some issues on this New England Patriots offense, especially with protecting their quarterback. So I think it'll be more elements to this. Jarrett Stidham will have a plan. Sean will put a plan together for him. But I think this will be close, and then as the game goes along, you'll see the New England Patriots start to pull away because then it becomes about making plays. D.O., you know how it go. As a defensive guy, them first 15 is hell. I don't care who your quarterback is, right? And you don't know what plan the team is going to have for Jarrett Stidham as well. So there's a lot of figuring out going on initially. I think the game will go that way. I think it'll be close, probably more than comfort for the New England fans, and then they'll pull away.
Yeah, can they run all their RPOs? This is a big 4x1 RPO team that the quarterback hands it off. He kicks it to the perimeter. Those are very difficult to operate at a relatively crisp level, and you got to be able to efficiently see things at the right time. Can they move the pocket? That was a huge part of this game. It's kind of a huge part of what they do, intentionally get the quarterback on the edge and allow him to be aggressive down the field. The other thing is, this young man makes plays with his legs. He is not hesitant to take off and go be a playmaker, and I don't know if Jarrett Stidham's got that in his. Jarrett Stidham has that in his game, so I think those are the huge question marks from the Broncos side. Can they do that? And from the Patriots side, what are you getting when you play against them?
Stidham's last pass attempt in an NFL game came in 2023, Week 18. It was intercepted by Trayvon Merrick versus the Raiders. So that was the last time. We'll see the next time coming here soon. And time to read and react to some other outcomes for the weekend. That's a good way to look at it, Dan.
Good opportunity.
Okay, starting in Seattle, where Mike McDonald's defense only blitzed Brock Purdy on 4 of his 33 dropbacks in Saturday's game, but got pressure on nearly 60% of his dropbacks. Purdy was just 6 for 14 for 74 yards when pressured, with no touchdowns and an interception. Mina, what stood out from that Seahawks defense on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously the Niners were injured, but it bears mentioning, versus every other defense, non-Seattle in the NFL this year, they were 5th league-wide in EPA per play versus the Seahawks over the course of 3 games. They would have ranked 33rd. Total defensive dominance. The player I want to highlight is Ernest Jones. I have watched Kyle Shanahan prey on the linebackers on this team and others for years. His understanding of the Niners' passing attack that allows him to be in proper positioning in coverage, and obviously he came in with a couple picks. Remarkable performance, excellent season, and so it continues.
All right, new on NFL Live, though, Mina, word out of Seattle is that running back Zach Charbonnet, a key piece of this offense, tore his ACL. He'll miss the remainder of the postseason. RC, just how big a loss is this for the Seahawks as they get ready to play those Rams for a spot in the Super Bowl this week?
I think this is a big loss, and I know Mina will agree. She watches this team as closely as anyone. Since about the second half of the Los Angeles Rams game in Seattle, this team has been more about what Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker III can do, and also adding Rashid Shaheed to the run game in jet sweeps and reverses. That's been a huge part of the evolution of the Seattle Seahawks. And so now with this team going forward, that's more of a load on Kenneth Walker III, and I expect Rashid Shaheed to be involved in a quick passing game that can add to the game like the run.
Yeah, interesting. Charbonnet got 64% of the
To look at our picks in this one, I gotta say I was surprised. We are all.
No way.
No.
Bruh.
No way. I know. No. Once the gong is in, it's time.
What? None of y'all took New England?
New England fans, you're going to be mad at us.
I hate this.
Yeah, we all took them? That is so dumb.
So, by the way, I had them make that. If I had been here on Friday like I wanted to be, that wouldn't have happened. All right,
Well, that
Texans
don't do nothing for
taking
us.
on the Patriots. A
Trust
snowy
me,
day in
Patriots fans have their fastball
Foxborough.
back.
Well, listen, they should. C.J. Stroud got hit right there, picked
Great
off
throw.
by Marcus Jones, returned for the touchdown. Marcus Jones told me after they felt like they could affect Stroud all game. That's exactly what they did. Patriots up 14-0. 3 minutes left in the second. Same score. Drake May hitting Stephon Diggs in the end zone, makes a great catch. He's looking at his hands. He's like, why are they so strong? Okay, Patriots up 21-10. 2 minutes left in the half. Same score. Stroud looking for Xavier Hutchinson, but it's picked off again. Carlton Davis, he had 2 picks. Texans trailed 21-10 at the half, which was remarkable considering all the turnovers. Early fourth quarter, Pats lead 21-16. May to Kayshon Boutte. This was insane, Dan.
That's a remarkable catch. I mean, they kept taking their shots one-on-one, down the field, down the field, down the field. Boutte was outstanding. Multiple catches where he wins at the line of scrimmage, strong hands, athleticism showed off, huge connection.
All right, Patriots win, and Diggs well aware of what was said on Friday.
I think we're one of those teams that play better with a chip on our shoulder. When everybody kind of counted us out, I think it was a handful of commentators and people, the little tidbits that I do see, because I try not to see it too much, they all pick Houston to win. I mean, for a good reason, and that's a good football team, and I understand their vantage point. All we can do is come in and work hard during the week and put ourselves in the best position to win the game.
Diggs' girlfriend, rapper Cardi B, took to social media to call all of y'all out after the game as well.
What is going on?
What are you talking about? Nothing.
Why do we keep doing this?
Nothing.
I love her.
Listen, Cardi B knows I exist. This is a win in my book. I'm taking the W.
Again,
Also, they were favorites.
What I'm trying to figure out is,
Listen.
I feel like we got set up, right?
Yeah.
Like when you put it on social, now everybody see it. At least make people search for it. We just alley-ooping it to people to dunk on us.
The whole
And
company's
luckily
like,
it's
dunk on
Cardi
him,
B and
dunk on
she's
him, dunk
famous
on him,
and
dunk on
awesome,
him.
and I like her. God,
It's fun. It's fun, but like Dan said, Cardi B don't know one of our names.
Bro, it ain't fun. Trust me, the Patriots fans, woof.
Come on, man. Y'all got to stop, bro. Them people, listen, they think the Patriots going to win every game,
Yeah.
and
good
they've
for
been
them.
wrong.
Hey, but
It's okay.
sometimes you got to be a good teammate, and that's the host job.
Yeah.
But either way, let's get into the game here for a minute. Dan, May's numbers were not gaudy, but what did the tape show you?
Jiminy Christmas, man. I know that the box score says, you know, Drake May struggled or fumbles or whatnot. I think when you watch the tape, I thought he played really good football. In some tight window throws was sensational. The changing of protection, this is the fourth down. He realizes send his offensive line out to the left. Petrie comes off the slot, back goes. That takes Petrie hesitates, backer leaves. This is relatively good coverage by Bullock. I think on the broadcast they show he get a finger on it, but the placement to put it on his chest for the touchdown is huge. That's a big-time throw. The touchdown to Steph down in the red zone. This ball has to come out on time, and you got to pin it on his face mask. That's in a tight window, outstanding. And then the booty one-on-one down the field. They kept taking this throw. Finally, Drake May, 1-2-3, ball out there. The catch is absolutely sensational, but hit it. Like, I saw fumbles and all this. That's got to be cleaned up. I think that's a little bit more than left tackle. But I do think after watching the tape, my takeaway was, man, Drake May played a very good football game.
Yeah.
Dan, I also want to ask you this question. On a touchdown to Stephon Diggs, how smart was it of Josh McDaniels to start him at number 3, then motion him to 1? Kamari Lassiter doesn't bump to number 1, and now Reed has to play the outside corner, which is a position he hadn't played the entire season, and he's also been injured.
Yeah, think about it too, RC. When you motion him over, you create just a little bit of outside leverage. Steph is still one of the best short space route runners in the league, and the catch was awesome, man, because there was a big collision.
Yeah, look, Drake May deserves a lot of credit for playing a mature game. It could have got away from him. And people got to remember, he's a second-year quarterback. Yeah. Playing against that gauntlet. Listen, they were still monsters.
No doubt.
This Texans defense. And it was fun watching them continue to scrap and fight until the dam broke. And that is a credit to the New England Patriots. That's a credit to pro football. Yeah. Eventually, these dudes that get paychecks too will make plays. Yeah. But I just wanted to come off of that by saying, like, Drake May, to me, that's turning more of a corner than the 350 and doing all of that. The sack fumbles obviously coming from his backside, but not turning the football over, not panicking, understanding the moment. Exactly. Yeah. Those critical third downs that he had to complete was phenomenal. But this Houston Texans defense, I am going to miss them.
Me too. Just really fast, shout out to those guys. I mean, they did not let up, even when the offense obviously wasn't doing anything. Yeah. They continue. I mean, there was a moment late in the game, Will Anderson Jr. still talking to a coach about something he sees out there, still fighting, still trying to do everything possible. Mina, let's turn our attention to that Pats defense, though. 3 sacks, 5 takeaways. Yeah. How'd they get it done?
Yeah, look, obviously C.J. Stroud had a bad game. We'll talk about that in his future this week. But I want to take a moment to give some credit to this Patriots defense because top to bottom, this was utter domination. Starting on the back end, Carlton Davis and Christian Gonzalez. This is exactly what we hoped it would look like when they signed Davis in terms of having 2 shutdown man corners. And then up front, I thought the defensive play caller, Zach Kerr, went very pressure heavy, which was smart with the blitzes. But also, you saw all of the additions that they made this offseason pay off in a big way. Milton Williams was unblockable in this game, right? Like that turnover C.J. Stroud has where he just throws up a prayer. That happens because Williams knocks back left tackle who clips the tight end who falls. Kairos Tonga was amazing against the run. Clavin Chason, who was an afterthought this offseason, was impactful in the pass rush as well. And it feels to me, guys, watching them, like this is a unit that is peaking at the right time, both in health and performance. And I think we saw that this weekend.
I think the thing we have to give credit to this New England Patriots defense is you had 4 turnovers in the second half, scored a touchdown yourself, and you're only up 11. And at one point, you're only up 5 in this game, and you have to continue to play. Yes, it's all about those players that were making plays, but this has been domination for 2 weeks in a row in the playoffs. Did the same thing to Justin Herbert last week, only holding him to 3 points. And to me, it's about the way that they're tied in at every single level of the defense, from the front to the back end, the disguise, the movement, the quickness, everything that they do is all in unison. And I think that makes it extremely difficult for these quarterbacks to get a beat. A little hesitation, and it's sacks and turnovers.
Joe and Troy brought this up last night during the broadcast of the game, but this was like Mike Vrabel's favorite game. This was the style of game that he wants to see, just this grueling defense. An incredible job by the offense.
Imagine picking a team from a dome in Houston to go up there in the elements and win.
It was snowing, y'all.
Couldn't be
actually,
me.
It was kind of just raining for a while and really cold, but we loved it. All right, still ahead. After an incredible defeat, Adam Schefter joins us here. Adam, why was the decision made to fire Sean McDermott in Buffalo?
Laura, for all the success that he's had, 5 AFC East championships, all these trips to the playoffs in 9 seasons, including over 100 wins, they could not get where they wanted to go. They could not get to the Super Bowl. And here we are in a season where the New England Patriots in their own division are playing a game Sunday to try to get to the Super Bowl, and the Buffalo Bills were thwarted again on Saturday against the Denver Broncos in the divisional playoff round, and they just felt like they needed to do something to shake it up in Buffalo because what they were doing wasn't getting them over the hump. Time will tell whether this was the right decision and the right move to make. It will be largely based on who they hire as a head coach and the results they have in the future, but they just felt like to get to the next level, they needed to shake things up and make a head coaching change. They fired Sean McDermott today, and they promoted their general manager, Brandon Beane, to the director of football operations as well. So he gets a bump up in title, while Sean McDermott now goes into the pool of candidates available for the 8 teams with openings to go higher in this hiring cycle.
Yeah, we'll spend a lot of time this week on this show talking about where Sean McDermott may go, and maybe this happens quicker than you think. But 8 seasons into his NFL career, Josh Allen's career record in the playoffs stands at 8-7. In the Super Bowl era, that's the most postseason wins by any quarterback who has never played in the Super Bowl. Allen has been to a pair of AFC championships, losing on the road to the Chiefs both times. And I know every season's different, but this felt like the season where he may have had the best path. Here's an emotional Josh Allen after Saturday's loss.
It's extremely difficult. I feel like I let my teammates down tonight. Can't win with 5 turnovers. I fumbled twice, threw 2 picks. When you shoot yourself in the foot like that, you don't deserve to win football games. I haven't been doing a lot of talking other than I love my teammates, and I'm extremely sorry. I'm disappointed in how this ended.
As we look back at the McDermott-Allen years in Buffalo, RC, how do you assess blame for that duo never making a Super Bowl?
I think the blame goes all around to both of those individuals and the entire team. And I also believe that Josh Allen is 100% the reason why Sean McDermott isn't there. And it's not about Josh Allen's faults. It's about that organization's belief in Josh Allen. They believe they have the best player in football. And so to them, if you have the best player in football, it should result in rings. And the fact that it hasn't is an issue. When you think about Sean McDermott and Josh Allen's tenure, so many times the reason they weren't in the playoffs or the reason they weren't in the Super Bowl was because of Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. This time, those guys were nowhere to be found. And the 4 turnovers by Josh Allen is why, in my opinion, he was crying after this game. You could say all you want about the roster. You could say all you want about a depleted team. But Josh Allen is at fault for this loss in particular. He was supposed to make those plays that were available, and he didn't. And he's being more honest about assessing his performance than many are who are covering this game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Look, his responsibility, RC, you said going into the playoffs, like this was going to be Josh Allen, and we knew he was working without the perceivably best team. But 4 turnovers in a football game is how you lose football games. You end up losing by 3, you fumbled, and they get a field goal right before halftime. You had opportunities to hit shots downfield. That one was the Dawson Knox, the interception to Locke after a turnover. So there were a lot of things. There's a lot of people over the course of these years, while we talk about McDermott and Josh not being together, that hold some of the blame. I also think Brandon Beane holds some of the blame as well. So it's not just that, but this seminal moment, and when you get to this inflection point and you come off a game where he turned the ball over 4 times, and we're talking about last year's league MVP, then he should feel responsible for this loss that the Buffalo Bills had against Denver.
A lot of conversation around Brandon Beane. Mina, what kind of roster is the next coach walking into with the Bills?
A very flawed one, which is, again, why I'm puzzled by the promotion combined with the firing. I think we would all agree outside quarterback, your next 3 most important positions, maybe receiver, offensive tackle, pass rush. The Bills, have good tackles. They desperately need a playmaker receiver. This is a pass rush that was 27th in pass rush win and came up short in the postseason. So you have to address the 2 most expensive, valuable positions because they've fallen short. And then I think elsewhere, the roster is aging on defense. A lot of holes, a lot of good players, not a lot of great players. And yeah, that's, to me, what makes this all the more puzzling.
Yeah, the head coach or the next head coach is going to have to figure out a way to not take a step back, but finally get over that hump. We've talked about this. It's very similar to Baltimore. You're trying to get a coach to take that one final step that is the hardest step to get done. And I remember saying this last year. I think the hardest thing is going to be getting this group to pick themselves up off the ground again. Again. Like this.
That was a heartbreaker.
But it's the same thing. And I would agree with RC. You know, Josh hasn't really been the focal point of why the game ended the way that it ended in the playoffs. There's probably 4 or 5 plays in this game that Josh is going to sit there and look back and say, good God, I wish I had those back because they were critical and kind of swing the game to be a loss. But I think that the challenge for the next coach, whoever it's going to be, is challenging this group and encouraging this group to be like, no, this will be different than it's been for the last 5 exits.
It's hard to do that with grown men, right? They know what's going on. By the way, College Football Playoff National Championship tonight as we say goodbye here. Everybody was on Indiana here except Swagoo. You picking the games?
Miami.
Oh.
Way to save us, Swagoo.
Welcome
Okay, there's no graphic here. We're just telling you. But
no
enjoy
graphic,
the game
so we're
tonight.
fine.
We'll see you tomorrow.
As long as there's no graphic, we're good.
ESPN. Bye.